This is the story of the Cyberpunk comic Trauma Team, issue 1 of 4. As a quick intro, in the Cyberpunk universe, Trauma Team is an elite rapid response medical service and one of the most powerful corporations. They boast a 3-minute response time and act like a tactical military team, extracting an individual in need of medical assistance, usually in extremely dangerous locales, via aerodyne as they fly them to safety and medical assistance, which is usually dire due to the cost and risk involved. The story itself was by Cullen Bunn, art and cover by Miguel Valderrama, colors by Jason Werdy, letters by Frank Svetkovich, and CD Projekt Red editorial Raphael Jackie and Bartosz Stybor. Links to the comics are in the description below. The establishing shot shows us the district of Westbrook in Night City, in which a crowd are standing aghast at something that is happening off screen. There's a Trauma Team member named Nadia who is being questioned about the incident, as this is a recollection of one of her Trauma Team extractions, and she's speaking to a higher up who is pressing her to tell her one more time what had actually happened. Nadia recalls, "The alert came in at 11 p.m. Medical evac. There was a platinum level client. There's a shootout around a van as it looks like 2 men are defending the van and there are assailants off screen. And the crowd in the background is running away. As one of the men gets shot, we see that the crowd is looking up aghast at something that is flying above. All the while, the higher up is questioning Nadia about if she makes it out to Westbrook, preoccupied with Nadia's leisure and personal time, to which Nadia replies that it's above her pay grade, and the higher up then presses, "Does that make you resentful of how little money you make?" To which Nadia replies, "Everyone's resentful of how little money they make. It doesn't change anything." We then see the second man in a suit being shot and the aerodyne of the Trauma Team is hovering above. Nadia then says, "We get the call and we do the job." The Trauma Team then land and the higher up is questioning Nadia about if it is just a job to her. And Nadia is recalling them moving in to extract the patient as somebody covers her. It's for the first time that we see Nadia in Trauma Team with her members, and she's to the left with the visual eyelets all over her mask. 2 of her team members are laying suppressive fire as Nadia explains to the higher up that sometimes it feels like a job, but sometimes it feels like something more. The higher up are asking which does she prefer, and Nadia is seen being told by a team member that the client's inside and to cut them out. She pulls out a handheld blowtorch and tells the higher up that she signed on with Trauma Team International because she thought she would be helping people. As then we see the intended target was inside the van and that they cut him out. Her team member tells her that there's multiple fractures, multiple lacerations, and that he's administering stimulants, but they have to get him into a freeze because his injuries are great. The higher up asks Nadia if she still feels like she's helping people. Nadia blinks silent for a second, recalling one of her team members getting shot in the chest, arm, and head. And the higher up says, "Nadia?" They're pinned down and the higher up is asking the question again. We then get a close-up of Nadia's teammate, his eye open, dead on the ground in a pool of his own blood. There's a close shot of Nadia's helmet with the visual holes as if expressive eyes showing she's soaking in the image of the death that had just happened. We get a cut back to the present day. Nadia is hooked up to contraptions which are monitoring her vitals, and she says it's all just the job. That's all, and I'd like to get back to work. We then see a half-littered female who seems to be a psychologist, and she tells Nadia that she appreciates the candor and that that's why they're talking as she evaluates her. She reassures Nadia that she's a valuable member of the team, but it's her job to make sure that she's ready to return to active duty. And we also get a visual of Nadia's vitals. Her heart rate is elevated at 89 beats per minute, depending on her resting heart rate. Her blood pressure seems pretty normal, but her face up on the viewing screen is in green and the rest of her team in red. Nadia reassures the psych evaluator that she's ready and it's been weeks and she's been sitting in her flat doing nothing, and it makes her feel, of course, the evaluator says, "How does it make you feel?" And Nadia dejected head down as the woman types says, "It makes me feel like I died out there too." And as Xander, her team member, says that they can't move him and they need to be swept up by the Aerodyne, Nadia's administering medical aid directly into his chest. We see that the Aerodyne is telling them to hang tight and keep their heads down as they're coming for them. The psych evaluator is still pressing, asking her, "How have you been sleeping?" Nadia replies, "You've been monitoring my sleep patterns, you tell me." As she recalls, the Aerodyne fires on the people below. The psych evaluator tells Nadia that machines and monitors only tell them so much and that she wants to hear it from Nadia. Nadia tells the evaluator if she's restless, it's because she doesn't like being sidelined. However, we see in her memories the eye of her team member staring lifeless back at her. As Nadia's been asked if she has dreams or nightmares, we see that a hail of high-caliber bullets are being fired at the assailants who are ducking for cover. Nadia says that she doesn't know if she has nightmares or memories, as she doesn't remember her dreams, but she stands like a stunned mullet looking at the death and destruction during the event, and Xander, her colleague, tells her to get ahead in the game as they're losing the target. Again, Nadia looks in the eye of the lifeless team member in a reflection in a pool of blood. As Nadia stands stunned during a hail of bullets, her team member is seen ducking. The psych asks Nadia, "When you think about getting back into the field, how does that make you feel?" Nadia remembers a team member telling her that they're not going to get out of there, and we see a cybernetic hand grab on top of the fan with a thumb. Nadia admits she feels anxious about getting back into the field as the man with cybernetic limbs and two outsplayed hands holding large knives leaps the 15-foot it looks at least to get to the Aerodyne hovering above. He laughs in a maniacal fashion, body tattooed, looking down upon the two trauma team members that seem helpless inside the Aerodyne. With a twisted grin of an evil Cheshire cat, he shoves his two blades through the Aerodyne's windshield into the faces of two of the trauma team members, Simmons and Adson, respectively. Pushing down the memory, Nadia says that she's ready to get into the field, as we see the Aerodyne spinning out of control, haphazardly firing bullets on the crowd below. Nadia then recalls that she understands why she has to do this, and that she knows there are doubts after what had happened, especially as the rest of her crew had been killed. And we see her crouching down alone as the lunatic cyborg lands near her dead teammate Mason and looks back at her with a smile. Nadia says that if she didn't think she could handle it, she wouldn't be there at all. And as the lunatic stalks towards her, Nadia says, "All the blood, all the bullets flying, I held out and kept the client alive until the evac," to which the Aerodyne transports the target and Nadia away safely, and the lunatic is left staring up at them. Nadia then proclaims that she did something good, and the evaluator says, "Good?" Nadia replies, "Yeah, for the company." And although Nadia is clearly traumatized and the rest of her teammates have been killed in action on the screen above her, she holds her head and hangs it, remembering their faces. It's then a shot cuts to Nadia and says that she's cleared for active duty once more. We jump forward to the future outside of the trauma team center and we see an Aerodyne about to land. There's a platinum alert and Bravo team is sent to scramble. Nadia is standing there with a helmet looking back at the eyes in which had soaked up the death of her previous teammates, contemplating what she will see through the receptacle of the helmet if she dons it once more as her new teammates get ready for the call. Everybody's told to scramble and Nadia just stands there looking at her helmet. Her teammate says, "New kid, shake a leg. The clock's ticking." However, Nadia then replies, "I'm not a new kid." The call seems to be from Pacifica and everybody has to have game faces because it's quite a dangerous area. We see another tight shot of Nadia's helmet, those eyes looking out as if she's remembering the trauma from before. Her new teammates tell her to hold on and she doesn't want to get banged up on her first op. Nadia simply says, "This isn't my first op." A teammate tells Bravo crew that Nadia's last unit got iced and she's the only one to walk away, but also notes that she saved the client too. As First Man Strata simply replies, "Stay frosty or get frosted." Withers, the pilot, then says that there's an alert coming from an apartment block and that they're going to go in from the roof. Everybody preps to get moving and as they load up their weapons, say, "Don't expect a warm welcome." They're heading into gang-controlled territory and a massive dilapidated housing block. The Aerodyne vehicle lands on the roof, and the team's notified that the client's 3 floors down. They break in from the roof as the member Gordon remarks that the lift probably hasn't worked for years, which means it's going to be a tough extraction. And the order from Gordon is that if anybody gets in their way, waste them, and another team member says F&A. As Bravo team descends the stairs, there is a vagrant man who's sitting there with a vial in his hands, and he tells them that they shouldn't have gone there, and it's none of their business what happens. As Nadia passes him, he says that bad things happen there. As he injects an illicit substance into his neck and says goodbye to anybody you might have loved as he takes in whatever intoxicant that he's imbibed. Gordon then says that this is the floor and that they better get ready. As Bravo team fan out and start searching the rooms, Nadia passes what appears to be an older woman or man, it's unknowable, on either some type of life support machine or illicit substance. It's unclear, but there's death and decay around every corner, and we see a tight shot of those eyes soaking in. More trauma for later. It's then Bravo team nears an intersection and there's blood smatterings all over the floor and are met with a hail of bullets. One of the Bravo team members gets clipped in the neck and screams as the rest of the team lay suppressive fire. We see a local gang is blind firing around the corner, taunting Bravo team, telling them that they're not going to get to their target. Knapp then grabs the shot member Strata, and Strata says he'll be alright, he just needs some Dorf, or it seems the shorthand for endorphins, to get him back out there. Knapp then tells Nadia he needs stimulants and then yells at her as she seems stunned and standing in one place. We get another tight shot of those unseeing eyes of Nadia's as she recollects the violence of her previous op. Knapp then tells Nadia to snap out of it, while Nadia is having flashbacks. Nadia then comes to and hits Strat with some Dorfs as Bravo team pushes the assault, moving closer to the target. They're being taunted by the local gang, who tells them that they're going to get bodied for coming there. Knapp then asks Strata if he's going to live. Strata says not forever, but he feels like he might thanks to the Dorfs. Knapp then questions Nadia, what's wrong with you? You can't lock up like that because you get yourself or Bravo team members killed as they move as a unit. As Knapp and Strata lay more suppressive fire and try and stay with the med techs, the gang then calls in reinforcements saying they've called in a trauma team. The gang then wolf whistles over more reinforcements. With the door handle bloody, the trauma team then kicks in the door as the rest of Bravo team fortify their position. The gang starts to move in on them, menacingly promising that the target belongs to them and he's gonna die, and so are Bravo team. As Nadia steps into the room, kneeling down, she tries to comfort the target. She tells him, it's all right, you're going to be okay. We're going to get you out of here. It's then Nadia's hand lets loose of her med kit. Her mask's visual receptacles register shock and horror. And then we see a close-up of her center visual receptor as the briefcase hits the ground, as she comes face to face with the man who originally attacked and indiscriminately killed Nadia's previous extraction team right before her sightless eyes. And he says, took you guys long enough. What the hell kept you? Nadia, in shock, is reeling. She remembers that face and that smile in her memories. The death of her friend and his lifeless eye looking back at her. That is the end of Trauma Team Volume 1. But it seems that if you've got the money, Trauma Team doesn't discriminate. But what did you think of the book? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to keep up with the Trauma Team, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that they get sent to you. And if you want to pick up the book, again, it's linked in the description. Thanks for watching. And until next time, traveler.